This is Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi, part of the Good Life program on healthy aging brought to you by UC Davis and the City of Oakland, bringing spiritual health classes directly to you all live. Before we get started, let's go over some helpful tips. You will see a small icon at the bottom of your screen that says chat. You will see a sidebar on the right hand side when you click the icon. At the bottom of the sidebar, you can actually type in any comments or questions that you might have during the session. This Zoom class will be recorded and broadcasted on Facebook and YouTube. So please take this time to change your Zoom name if you wish to be identified differently. This is a friendly reminder that by remaining in the Zoom meeting, you consent to allowing your image and photo, video, or film to be used for any legitimate purposes by the organizers, producers, sponsors, and assignees. Lastly, let's remember that this is Zoom. It is not perfect. Your sound or internet might cut out, but remember we are still here and you can always access us on Facebook Live. So if you experience any technical issues accessing our class, please give us a call at 510-255-0232 or email us at info@thegoodlifepath.org. And if you enjoyed today's conversation and wish to be a part of our live session, please support us by clicking on the link posted in the chat to get your free Zoom invitation and reminder to our next session. Because Mindful Mondays is open to all interested in creating a safe space to promote personal growth and advocate for spiritual and mental health awareness. We are committed to building a space for you to come together with others who are open to expand their consciousness. We are not trained therapists and cannot provide you with expert advice about your specific legal work or family situations. However, we can provide you with thoughtful opinions based on our personal experiences. This space is sacred and we expect our conversations to remain private. We ask that you speak respectfully towards one another and not tell group stories outside of our sacred space. We are not doctors and this is not a formal mental health guidance, but this is Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi, brought to you by UC Davis and the City of Oakland, bringing spiritual health classes directly to you all live.
Happy Monday, all. It is 7/7 of 2025. This is an amazing, amazing day, amazing energy. Some of you may have been feeling a bit lethargic, a little tired, but that is all about Ascension Upgrade. So I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi in the UC Davis in the City of Oakland, as well as the Good Life. If you are catching this recording, I also thank you for being present. We may have visited this topic earlier this year. However, this topic is coming up again, the breath. Many people are dealing with anxiety. Many people are dealing with what's next or wondering what's next with all that's going on in the world. But it is connecting to that breath and that fire on the inside of us to keep our own passions, desires, and wants alive. When we stop breathing, or even when we're in the process of being in the midst of a conversation or midst of certain energy, sometimes we realize that we may not be breathing. We may be holding our breath. So as always, I start with a meditation just to kind of get us in the space. And I'm going to share a couple of breathing exercises, and actually let's do them together. As always, I turn my video off. I'm going to share my screen. This screen that I'm sharing today is going to be going to the depths of the ocean. In the practice of nature and studying nature and the wisdom of nature, we know that we do not know the depths of the sea. We don't know what's at the bottom of the sea. But when we're always seeing it depicted in cartoons or in movies, it shows a treasure at the bottom of the sea, a treasure chest, and all of these things. Well, with this process and this journey and this meditation today, I want you to go deep into your subconscious mind to allow your breath to go that deep. Most of us stop at our breath at the chest and we do not take it all the way to our belly. So just at this process and during this meditation, I want you to just be aware of where you are with your breath. How deep can you go? I want to make sure I'm sharing my sound, so give me 1 second. And what stands out to you? Because animals speak. So if the turtle stands out to you, a dolphin, a particular fish, whatever it is that you see, the coral may stand out more to you when you're doing this meditation. But I just want you to breathe normally and be as still as you can. During this process, I want you to observe your breath without judgment. Don't try to modulate it, change it. Just observe your natural breath in this process. While you're going through this process, how does the breath feel in your mouth, your nose, or even your chest? Do you feel like it is reaching every part of your lungs or just the top part of your lungs? How does the breath feel in your throat? Is it hot or cold, or does it even hurt? Then be aware of how does your body feel when you breathe in, and how does your body feel when you breathe out? I'm going to sit with your breath for the next 2 minutes. You can also take note of your thoughts. And the Most High grant you the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change, and the courage to change the things that you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If you feel any tightness when you're doing this, feel free to gently move that part of your body. More seconds. Okay, if you need to do a full body stretch to bring yourself into the space, please do so. During the breath work today, we're definitely going to be in flow with what that means for you. I would like to do a quick morning analysis for yourself, not just on Mindful Mondays, but throughout your week, throughout your weekend. How do you get up? Do you set your intention, or do you just get up rushing, preparing for your workday? Do you hit snooze on the alarm clock? And when you hit snooze, do you allow yourself to go through a series of breath work, prayers, awareness, intention setting? If you want to put that in the chat, I would like to have a lovely dialogue today of what that looks like for you. Do you nourish yourself? And the other question that I would like you to ask, if you have a piece of paper, or you may use your phone as your note taker, but what are your top five thoughts? What are your top five thoughts? And if you could jot that down in 60 to 90 minutes, and again, you can do this exercise later, but when you write down those top five thoughts, put a plus or a negative next to it and feel how your body feels when you write that down or even acknowledge that thing or things. Because if it's something that creates tension or causes you to hold your breath, then that is something that we can change the perspective or perception and breathe into the said thing in a different manner. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for sharing that you meditate, journal, and pull encouragement cards and be grateful. To me, that is a beautiful way to start the day. The cards, some people do not like cards because it has this tarot card or whatever, but encouragement cards, motivational cards are very, very helpful, especially if you have a brain that's, some people call it the squirrel brain, scatter brain, or whatever the case may be, that does not allow you to focus on gratitude, or life is pulling you because bills are due, or this is due, or you don't know, especially with all of this stuff happening with the new bill being passed, you know, for those that may be dealing with Medi-Cal, Medicare, or the things that will be affected. In what ways can we find other solutions and be present in this day and each day? And so something to even ask yourself possibly is, what's on your mind when you awake? Because everybody doesn't awake with meditation or journaling or pulling encouragement cards or being grateful. And so how do you feel when you wake up? And what is it that you may have gone through the night before? Some people are sleeping with their TVs on and they may be watching murder mysteries and all of these other things, but do not realize how that interrupts the sleep, and that can create some energy when one wakes up and how one wakes up. The other thing, when I think of a starting of the day, connecting with the breath is, to me, one of the most important things, because again, without breath, the unseen, we wouldn't be. And so when you're doing this, do you give yourself time to do that? You know, addressing yourself, your higher self, your, you know, all of creation that's all around you. So what I would ask you to do after you write those five top things, again, if you want to put them in the chat, you want to discuss it, unmute, share your cameras, whatever, and be interactive today, that would be great. So outside of doing the top five, I want you to visualize your perfect morning. Okay, so you can get comfortable with your breath work like we just did. That was only 5 minutes that we did that. And observing your breath, seeing when you may be a little bit shallow in your breath and in your breathing, because that shallowness can also deal with anxiety. It can also deal with certain things that may be causing the blockages within your body. After you breathe for that 1 minute, you want to do a 4 hold. I've discussed that before. If this is your first time joining us, the 4 seconds in and 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, and then 4 seconds hold again. In this, and you're focusing on your breath during this, you become more relaxed. So these are the questions I am going to put in the chat as well for anybody that is here live, and I will say them out loud. What time do you normally wake up, and how much sleep would you like to have if you visualize your perfect morning? I know many are retired. I was speaking to someone who is retired recently, and they said that they don't know what to do with themselves because they have so much time on their hands. For those that overwork, or I won't say overwork, but if you work a lot of hours, how do you take a moment and a beat to yourself during your day, throughout your day? Or is it always go, 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 go? I will say that working in any industry and working for someone else can cause you to lose sight of your purpose, your destiny. I know myself sometimes I have trouble breathing. I was one that grew up at the age of 4 or 5. I developed asthma. And asthma for me was actually something that was emotional. Some people may be dealing with asthma or have dealt with asthma. Asthma and the lungs and the breath are connected to grief and the breath of life and getting the breath of life. And so, anyone that you may know that may be dealing with asthma, or some people I know were dealing a lot with COPD, a lot of people were dealing with breathing situations with COVID-19, coronavirus. So, a lot of this is, again, how do we connect with this unseen thing? How long do you lie in the bed before you wake up? Me personally, I may lie in the bed for 30 minutes, but in that 30 minutes, I'm taking the time to breathe. I'm taking the time to think of my thoughts. I create my day, visualize what it is that I'm going to do for the day. And so it's okay if you choose to take 30 minutes or an hour to just lay in the bed to get yourself acclimated. But it is better to do that than just get up and rush. You know, I think of the people that have to be at work at 9 o'clock and they snooze a couple of times and then they're rushing to get to work. And then the rest of the day is a little scattered. And so I thank you for sharing, Anisha. After years of go, 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 I end up feeling like doing nothing but do what needs to be done. And that happens a lot. It happens a lot with burnout. When you are go, 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 sometimes you just want to stay home and you just want to relax and you don't want to go anywhere. But then you have the other part of your mind that does want to do something and be around people. And so, in what ways do you catch a breath? And so, one of the breaths that I want to share is definitely finding your truth. If we can get to a full breathing, what does that look like for you? A full breath for me is inhaling pretty much longer than a lot of people. So I don't want you to go at the pace that I am going, but I do want you to feel what it feels like to take a full breath and what that feels like. And so as you do this, you want to feel each part. What do you feel in each part of your body? How do you feel? Some people, when they do breath work, they may feel a little lightheaded because, again, your body is getting more oxygen than it is normally used to getting because you're taking the time to be conscious. And so, in this deep breath, you want to ask yourself, are you breathing deeply? And can you go deeper? How does it feel? Does it feel in your abdomen first and then your chest and then through your throat? Or are you breathing chest first and then abdomen? So if you could take a few moments to really, if you want to place your hand on your stomach and your chest at the same time, we can take a full breath together on the inhale. And hold it as long as you can. And exhale through the mouth. For me, myself, we're going to do another round. Holding it and exhale. If you feel called to do it again, some people tense or stretch their body in the full breath, so you can do that as well. The tension in your body, meaning ball your fists, ball your shoulders, like get everything tight as you inhale and then release it when you exhale. That is also an exercise that can be done to release any tension in your body, whether you are aware or not. Now, what I will say is most people that have trouble digesting not only food, but words, conversations, and things may have a little abdomen. It may be difficult to go that deep in the abdomen, or you may feel it being super tight when you do this breath work. The more you do this particular full breath work, it can release that tension that is in your abdomen and also help you to properly discern or Allow yourself to feel that sad thing that you are feeling to then make the necessary choice to let go. Oftentimes we don't let go, especially in moments of anxiety. We hold our breath, and we're not checking our breath. As one of the guests said, I definitely have to check my breathing constantly because I'm finding myself not breathing properly. And so when I have done different studies, I have studied someone by the name of Mantak Chia. Mantak Chia, I will put in the chat as well. Mantak Chia is, I think he's almost knocking in his 80s, but he has been doing Qigong, not Qigong, but he does breath work. And the breath work, he does a lot of things that help us to understand the fire in our body is necessary. But if we are not breathing properly, that means that the oxygen in our body is not fueling that fire, because you need air in order for a fire to be fueled. And so when we understand this full breath breathing and what that does to the body, it does get your organs working more than they have. Oxygen is also necessary in regards to how your blood flows through your body. And so just curious, how many people deal with anxiety? If you want to do a raise of hand, put in the chat. And if you dealt with anxiety as a past thing, what were the tools that got you to no longer deal with anxiety? Was it breath work? Was it gratitude cards? Was it your prayer life? Was it just letting go? Whatever it may be, I am definitely open to hearing what the elders have to say. I think Miss Anisha has raised her hand. I'm not too sure if Miss Anisha still wants to go, but I'm very curious. I see Anisha raise her hand for anxiety.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel anxious all the time, but like I said earlier, I have to check my breath all day long because I find myself just like holding my breath, and it makes me even more tense than I already am. So I try to do that. I just have to stay consistent with it because if not, it just goes, I just do it naturally. So, but yes, I feel anxious.
I thank you for sharing that. Miss Linda J put in breath work and affirmation. And I think breath work is something that can really help the anxious mind and also the thought process. Miss Dolores shared journaling, meditation, and learning to let go, trusting my faith. Oftentimes we want to have control. There's been this conversation of the balance between masculine and feminine, not really the body person, but the energy of that within in individuals. The masculine energy is something that is more of that is logic, when the feminine energy is more of something that is free flowing and allows it to just be. And so a lot of us, especially women, have been operating more in the masculine because of work and taking care of the home and all of these different tasks that doesn't allow a female or a male, both, to be soft. And so it is a trusting of the process. And a lot of us like to have control. And what I have found through breath work and journaling and all of these different tools that can assist in the anxiety can definitely change one's mind. It can change one's frequency in the body and not be one that tries to grasp at everything or hold on because they don't want to lose control. And oftentimes, as I said at the beginning, during the meditation, grant me the serenity to let go of the things that I cannot control and only control the things that I can, and have the confidence and courage to do so. And what I'm finding as I do the work that I do is that most of us find it difficult to do breath work, to journal, to let go. However, what I am also finding is when you trust that you've come this far, if you were to look back from the last 6 months of your life, what has happened so beautifully, even in the midst of all this stuff that is going on in, the White House and the world, things that are crumbling, but yet there's people who are finding beauty right now in it all. And so in what ways can you look at the next 6 months in a way that you can control the things that you can control and trust the process, because again, you've gotten this far. This month is a month of nurturing yourself and trusting this process as you continue to move forward. What does that look like for you? Again, your practice, again, I really give it to Dolores with the trusting my faith. Because again, faith is something that we can't see, or believing in something that is unseen. And so in what ways do you trust yourself? In what ways do you trust the process if you have never been let down? If you still have a roof over your head, if you still have clothes on your back, you still have shoes on your feet, you have money that's on the way when there's some people that may not have. So that breath work and connecting with, you know what, I have a breath of life because somebody did not wake up today, allows you to be in the present moment instead of thinking so far ahead or so far behind. Some of us are still caught up in the fight or flight. And what this breath work can do is help you to clear this energy of old stagnant energy, especially if you're not one working out, moving, and there's no movement in your day to day. And so after the full breath, here's another exercise. I don't know if any of you know of alternate breathing. Alternate breathing is when you hold one nostril. If you want to, some people do this with their thumb, some people do the finger, some people, however works for you. You want to take one nostril and close one nostril and only inhale through this, inhale and exhale through this one nostril. So if you take a moment, and you could do 3 rounds, 5 rounds, but sit still after you do that nostril. See if you feel any tingling sensations in your body, in your thought process. And then after you do that nostril and you sit still for a moment, you can also do the same with the left nostril. Hold it, inhale in, exhale through the same nostril. This breath can reset your nervous system. It may look strange if you care about what people think, if you're out in public and you're in a moment of anxiety and you break out and you do this breath work. But if you care more about what you feel and not care about what people think, then you would have no problem doing this exercise whenever your body feels called to do it. This is also something that you could do if you are having trouble falling asleep, tapping into your breath. There's also there's a breath work that you breathe only through your mouth. Most of us may only breathe through our nose, so breathing through the mouth, inhaling and exhaling at a particular place. And I'm gonna kind of demonstrate where your stomach comes up first, then your chest, and then you exhale through the mouth. Excuse me, because the breath work also may cause you to burp or clear energy. So if you're burping, if you're feeling lightheaded, again, take a pause. You don't want to get too lightheaded because your body is getting adjusted to this breath that you have not been giving it all these years or months or whatever that may be. You may have forgotten this practice and it's bringing you back. But if you can take a deep inhale in, that breath alone is a somatic breath. I only did it 3 times. However, I can feel the energy already going through my body because my lungs have already been trained to do this breath. When you do that consistent breath for 10 to maybe even 30 minutes, however long you can go, what you will find is if you hold your breath, you can hold it longer than you thought you could. That holding allows you to understand that your lungs are at a full capacity because you have had a consistent It may not feel like it as you begin that practice, but the stronger you get in that practice, even right now, I feel lightheaded. I feel the tingles in my arm because it's been maybe about 2 weeks since I've done that particular breath. Again, if you have high blood pressure, if you have anything that can cause your heart rate to go up really fast, you want to also be in tune with your body. You want to be in tune with your heart, because the slower the breaths, the slower your heart rate will go. But if you're doing fire breath, which is a fast breath to get that energy that may be stagnant, if you don't know what a fire breath is, I'll demonstrate that as well. It is breathing through the nose only, and is what that fire breath does is warm up that root area, the stomach, because again, that is where your fire sits, in your digestive tract. So if you have constipation, if you have trouble breathing, if you have trouble, again, digesting your food, breath work, again, you don't really want to do it on a full stomach. So that is also something to be mindful of. You want to be mindful of doing the fire breath on a full stomach. Even the breath where I was breathing from the abdomen, that one also, you want to be mindful of having a full tummy. You want to have a light meal if you are choosing to do your breath work after your breakfast or on your lunch break, or even if you are a late eater, as Dr. Boz said last week, your best meal is the heavy meal is to eat midday, and then your last meal should be about 7 p.m. So if you're in bed about 9, 10, maybe even at 11, that would be a good time to do the breath work, because your food would have partially digested. There is a channel clearing breath, and I am going to share this book. It is a beautiful little handbook that I picked up. I tend to pick up books when I'm in particular places, but I will share, and I will also see if it's available. But it's called The Little Book, let me see, The Little Book of Breathing. And I will pull it up so that you can find it. Because again, some of you may want to work on your breath work. And this little book of breathing, especially for you caffeine drinkers that may first thing in the morning feel like you need your caffeine, it has something where you have a checklist and maybe not take in as much caffeine in your body. And so let's see. And it may be a free book on Libby. I believe Libby is something that you can look at audiobooks. But this is the little book of breathing. It is a little sample. They also have the audio if you want to get the audio on Kindle or audiobook. But this is a beautiful book that gives 10 to 15-minute practices to guide you through your day, to learn how to harvest your power of breath. Also, when you are in tune with your breath and you are in tune with your energy, when you are out in public, you can tell the difference of what is yours and what is not yours. What does that mean? And if you have questions, I would love to answer them as well. Because we are electromagnetic beings, we are ones that are magical. I say magical because who can really explain this creation of life that happens 9 months in a mother's womb when the baby is in full water and in full darkness? And then we come out into this real world, and at the age of 7, 8, our innocence starts to get a little interesting, because we are now around adolescents or school members, people in school that we go to school with. And how does that affect us? How does that affect how you are, where you are with yourself in your process? One thing that I love that Ms. Dolores shared in the chat was mirror work and affirmations on my mirror. Oftentimes we have to inform ourselves or affirm ourselves because of the programming that has been done in order to cause us to be worker bees. And I say worker bees is because we producing honey for other corporations, other people, for those that may not be working for themselves, and then people who have retired. You may be loving life, living life, and glorious in it all. So I definitely, even those that are retired, recommend breath work. One of the other breath exercises that this book gives is a cooling breath and an air conditioner breath. With this breath, You sit comfortably with your eyes closed. You observe your breath. And you also look at how can you regulate your breath, breathing through your mouth and counting to 4, again, holding for 4, and you could do it 10 times. After you do that round for 10 times, you want to press your teeth together and draw your lips back. And it's kind of like you're going to be breathing through your teeth, and it's going to feel really cool. What this does is it brings a steadiness to your heart rate. It brings a steadiness to your heart rate. So that's a breath that you can do with yourself. It's something that you can do a sipping or a hissing sound. And so when you do this, again, it is to calm yourself, to bring you to a collective calm space. Yes, I will put the book in the chat, Miss Phyllis. Let me make sure I have it. And I think it's cute. It's a little $10 book. Copy link. And so if you are in the Zoom live, it is in the chat. If you're not on Zoom live, again, it is called The Little Book of Breathing by Una L. Tudor, Tudor. First name is spelled U-N-A. And I will share it on the screen just in case someone logged in before. So this is the Little Book of Breathing. Again, it gives you the rise and shine. If you have an information overload, because some people do automatically grab their phones, some people may automatically turn on the news, and now you have an information overload because you did not set your day. And then you have the midday where you want to be a little cool. Some people have that midday coffee or feel like they need it. And then those that may be traveling during work hours, that also too is something that this book covers. And then also, how do you rest once you are at home? Because some people, it's like the day is starting all over again and they don't have enough time to themselves. So I would definitely say for those that are constantly working, those that may feel like they're working 12-hour shifts and then they go home and they don't have enough time to themselves, create a routine for yourself so that you do feel like you have enough time. That routine could be taking a spiritual bath or a cleansing bath or a soaking bath, however you want to name that. When I say a spiritual bath, that can consist of herbs, it can consist of sea salt, it can consist of essential oils. And when you are setting an intention during this bath, that can be very helpful. And then while you're in the tub, you can also do breath work while you're in the tub. The other thing that I would say is definitely love on yourself more. Oftentimes we don't give ourselves this gift of breath because it is a gift. It's a gift to life. Without the breath, we wouldn't be. And so in what ways can you be cool? In what ways can you be calm and bring this observation of yourself when you're in particular spaces and rooms? One thing that I would notice as well is if your body is feeling a particular way in a particular space, it may be time to change or make a move or change the way that you think. Sometimes your body is telling you that it's not a safe space, but oftentimes we may ignore that. Again, connecting to this breath can help, because if you're in a space and you find yourself having anxiety in this particular space, the question of asking yourself, am I breathing? Am I present? What is it that I'm feeling? Brings the awareness and it brings the mindfulness to your physical being. When I say a veil is lifting, meaning the truth of everything is coming out. You're about to see people for who they are, and how does that connect with the frequency that you are exuding. If you are always exuding something of worry and concerns, fears and doubts and insecurities, life will continue to give you the challenges to keep that narrative going. So you have to ask yourself, what is the narrative or the story that you have been telling yourself however many years, whether that's the last 6 months, the last 9 years, the last 18 years, the last 27 years, and so on. It's not a time to beat up on yourself, but it is time to love up on yourself. And how do you play? What is your way of playing on this playground we call Earth? This to me is a way that I play. I like playing with my breath in the sense of I'm being joyful about my breath work. I'm being joyful about mirror work. I'm being joyful about making the necessary changes. Now, for some, maybe some of our elders that are on the Zoom can share with us your journey of how did you let go of control? How did you let go and trust the process and tap into your breath to be present in every moment? Because that's where we are. We are in a sense of being present in every moment and having gratitude. It is not to say to not allow yourself to feel through this process, but it is to say to utilize these tools to help you through a process of trying to digest the thing that you have no control over. Again, we want to focus on only the things that we can control, because things that we cannot can create stress, anxiety, fears, and doubts, and things that do not allow us to truly live our truth and have the good life. We can have the good life if we tap into this unseen breath, this unseen thing, this faith that we have been so privy and privileged to have, because again, we have another opportunity to be present. So as we are coming to a close with 14 minutes left, again, I definitely want to repeat some of the not assignments, but activities that you can do with yourself. The first one being is, what is your top 5 thoughts throughout the day? Not something that you overthink, but something that you jot down in 90 seconds, if possible, or less, maybe a minute. In that top 5, you want to identify what is positive, what makes you feel good, or what causes you to hold your breath and have anxiety behind. With that, in what ways can you rewrite your story on this beautiful day? Again, today is 7/7. It's considered a portal, spiritual portal of self. And again, planning what you would like to see for the next 6 months and years, 9 years, 8 years, 10 years from now. What would that look like for you? How can you change that narrative? The other assignment or thing that you can do for yourself is maybe look at some affirmation cards or some encouragement cards if you are one that deals with anxiety a lot, or if you have to catch your breath often. Those cards can remind you that you are present, that you are on a good path. Some people also pay attention to nature. Sometimes nature is speaking to you, whether you realize it or not. When is the last time that you inhaled the smell of a flower that you walked by, or grabbed a piece of rosemary and just sniffed the rosemary and understand what even rosemary can do for your lungs, inhaling it? All of these things are freely available to us to be in the present, to be in our body, because sometimes we are not in our body. Oh, Miss Dolores, I would love to know more about these inner child oracle cards. That is beautiful. If you could provide the name.
Their inner child oracle cards. They're a 44 deck with a guide to heal your past and embrace your present. And they're by Amanda Lynn Aisling, Aisling.
I see them.
Yeah.
I'm going to share them with the group just in case somebody else is.
Okay, so do you want me to write the name in there?
Yeah, you can write the name, but I'm also, I found it on Amazon.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm going
Okay.
to share it. And yes.
Thank
So this
you.
is a beautiful offering that was given to us by Dolores. Again, how, if anyone is dealing with stuff from the past, this may be a good offering for yourself. And they're only $18. I don't normally get stuff used, but they have them. It looks like they have used in $9.99 if 18 is too much for you. But I will put this in the chat. Thank you for this. That lit up my day. I love this. Thank you for sharing. And let's see, stop share. And then the link has been placed in the chat. And again, anyone who may be catching this recording, after and did not join us live, they are called The Inner Child Oracle, a 44-deck and guidebook to heal your past and embrace your present by Amanda Lynn Aisling or Aisling. Okay, that is, again, you may be able to also find it on hayhouse.com. I think that is, I'm so looking forward to this. Thank you for that share. Thank you so much for that share. And so the last breath that I want to give to you guys, as you are doing, because we already have the 5 top thoughts, which I love. Do the 5 top thoughts, the things that you think about the most, and how can you change the narrative if there is something that is not in alignment with you, if it doesn't feel comfortable. The next thing that you could do is also the way you wake up. Be aware of how you wake up. Set an intention to maybe spend 10 to 15 minutes with the breath work, so that you can get accustomed to being with your breath, setting your intention, and knowing what that intention will look like and how it would unfold. The last exercise that I want to give is one that you can do. It's devised by an American doctor. It's called the 4-7-8 breath. Some people, you can definitely either do this in your bed or you can do it sitting up, but you want to do it without a phone, without a tablet. You want your lights to be off and get comfortable. Again, you want to notice your breath and see where you're breathing in that moment. And then after you get accustomed to your breath, you want to put your tongue to the back of the top of your front teeth to allow air to circulate properly. So there's like a gap in between the tongue and the teeth in the top of the roof of your mouth. You're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4 and hold that inhale for a count of 7 seconds, and then breathe out through your mouth with a loud whoosh or a sound for a count of 8. Now, this is also for anyone that may have trouble breathing to go to sleep or trouble to go to sleep. This breath, when you continue this breath, you will find your body to relax and be able to fall asleep properly. Miss Tanya, yes, you do this breath daily. The 4-7-8, I love that breath. Again, I would also advise if you are one that falls asleep with the TV or needs some type of white noise or some noise on, be sure to maybe go to YouTube and find a meditative mind or mind meditation to play a frequency when you are asleep versus maybe, again, if you're looking at the news and then you have infomercials come on, or you're looking at Law and Order or something scary, whatever that may be, does sit in your subconscious mind. So with the meditation that we did at the start was with the depths of the sea. And remember, I spoke about the subconscious mind and those things that are deep within that subconscious mind. And how can you bring that up to the surface? To me, that one way to bring that up to the surface is the breath work. It is acknowledging those things that may have been suppressed, that you have been holding on to or still haven't been able to properly digest what Jane did at work 15 days ago, or what somebody may have done in the family 10 years ago. Whatever that may be, how can you bring yourself to this present moment without holding on to something that someone else did that has no bearing on you in this present moment, unless you allow it to? So I encourage you to tap into this breath. Breath brings a change and a transformation that is unseen because, again, the breath is unseen. But if you trust the process and you strengthen your lungs, you can release yourself from any grief that you may be feeling. Now, grief is not just somebody passing. Grief can be an end of a relationship. Grief can be a change in who you used to be and who you are now, and you're missing parts of yourself that you feel were necessary, but you've grown and you've evolved. And it's not to say that those things are no longer a part of yourself, but your life may change, your friendship circles may change, and that too can cause grief. This world and where it is right now, that too can cause a sense of grief. So in that, with this mindfulness, with the intention of setting to love on yourself, again, some of us love others more than we love ourselves. This breath work is a form of loving on yourself. You hugging yourself and just even taking the moment to spend more time to put that lotion on your body when you get out of the shower, or to even stand in the shower or tub a little bit longer, is all part of loving on yourself. So as you do these different things for yourself, don't forget the breath. Oftentimes we forget the breath. Oftentimes we forget to allow ourselves to even feel because we are so numb to society's being or way of being. How can you remove yourself from the rat race? Breath is one way that you can do it. I would love if anyone wants to share, how do you feel about the breath in doing some of these exercises? If you did them with me, did you feel a shift? Did you feel any lightheartedness? Did you feel any tingling in your body? Or did you feel tension? Because sometimes some people feel tension and they're like, I didn't get what was that? What you felt? Because I didn't see those stars. I didn't see the twinkles. I didn't feel anything. And that is okay. It is all about strengthening that aspect, that muscle, and training your body, training your mind with that. Anyone wants to share? Yes, it feels amazing, but I couldn't sit still. The stronger you do it, the more you do it, you will allow yourself, your nervous system will calm. That is one thing that I can say with breath works. If you know it feels amazing, implement it more, and then allow yourself to say, I don't have anything to do in this moment but to tend to myself. That could be hard for people who are nurturers. So if you've always been used to being the one who nurtures everybody, takes care of everybody, or feel like nobody is there for you, because I know that a lot of people feel alone but don't realize that they have thousands of ancestors standing behind them, and they have people that they can call on, but they don't call upon those people or reach out to those people. And so it is a journey and a process when you've been thought that this is the way that life is supposed to be. No, it could be simple. The more you tap into the breath of, the more you allow yourself to rest and be still and present in the moment of how you feel. You just don't want to put energy and motion behind a feeling that is not conducive for your growth. And what does that mean? Not doing this breath work when you know it feels good. That is running away from loving on yourself. So I definitely encourage you to do this breath work. Again, this little book of breathing, it is only $10, $12, and it's a good investment for yourself. And the inner child cards, I'm definitely going to get those. So thank you again, Ms. Dolores, for sharing that. If there isn't anyone else that would like to share their wisdom on what breath work has done for them, or even what does this moment, this conversation, how did it feel for you? Did it resonate? Did it not resonate? Is it something that you realize that you need to implement more within yourself? Or you got it, and maybe there's someone that you can share this beautiful process of breath work with. Miss Dolores, I realize I unconsciously held the need to struggle. A lot of us wear struggling and certain things like it's a badge of honor. That has been a recent conversation that I've had with some people in my communities, that sometimes we wear it like it's a badge of honor and don't realize it's simple. And for some people, it may not be simple because it's an unconscious thing. So this breath work does allow one to be conscious and present in the moment. Miss Tanya says that the 4-7-8 breath lowers her blood pressure. So those that may be dealing with blood pressure, high blood pressure, hypertension, this 4-7-8 breath, again, you're inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, and exhaling through the mouth with a sound for 8 seconds. Again, this is something that you can utilize to calm your nervous system, your blood pressure, for you to get to sleep if you have trouble sleeping. These are some of the tools that you can utilize. I appreciate those that were able to put in the chat and participate in this conversation today. Next week, we will be talking about how animals speak. So if you take the time this week to just notice what crosses your path, and we can have a discussion next week. What crosses your path could be a butterfly. I just was in Big Bear and I saw a bunch of chipmunks. And so what did that mean for me? It had a meaning. All of it has a meaning. It could be a hummingbird, a bee, an ant, spiders, whatever it may be. What is the animal saying to you? Because we as human beings are the only thing that has the mind that disconnects us from nature. But when we are in tune with our breath, that allows us to flow a little bit better with nature and to have trust and faith in what we are co-creating with the creator. So I appreciate you all for joining Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi and The Good Life. I really, really appreciate it. Miss Pearl, recent adventure with vertigo, and the doctor suggested deal breaking to help with anxiety that accompanies. That is a good tool. Deal breaking. Breath also helps with vertigo, if I'm not mistaken. So I appreciate you sharing that. And hopefully this thing that we have shared today with breath work and the little book of breathing, as well as the inner child oracle cards, can assist you in breaking those things. And so I really, really send my love to you, Miss Pearl, and hope that this bout of vertigo, because I know my mom has dealt with vertigo as well, but she hasn't in quite some time because she has dealt with the anxiety. So hopefully this helps, as well as the other tools that we have discussed on Mindful Mondays with The Good Life. Again, thank you all for joining us. I appreciate you. Have an amazing week. Again, focus on what you would like to create for the next 6 months for yourself. And for some, you may want to go a little bit further. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself, love on yourself, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Thank you, Miss Vivian. Thank you all. Take care.